Hey cousins, come to Bible study with me. Today's topic is just gonna be about leadership. Leadership. And that's what we gonna rock with today. And y'all, I know this took a turn. I know this gonna take a good turn, but it's like I don't think I've posted on Instagram in over a week. And that might not seem like a lot, but for me that's a lot because I can flush out at least 82 posts a day. And y'all know this. Like especially like when I get in my mode or in my feelings or I get happy about something or it don't matter what emotion I'm in. If I'm in it and it's high or low, like I can flush out like 72 million posts a day. But I haven't posted in a while and God really then sat me down and snatched me up and got my attention. Like he really got my attention. And I haven't I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyways. I just turned 23 last month. Just turned 23 last month, and I have never actually read the Bible for myself. For real. Like, don't shoot me, but I have actually never read the Bible for myself for real. And like, people would say like read the Bible for yourself. Like you can't just fill up on a word off of one Sunday. And I get that. I understood that. But I would do things like watch videos. Like I'm the type I like watching them podcasts and I like rewatching sermons and stuff like that from churches, from preachers that I like. But they was even in that they would say it's not enough to cut on a video. Like you have to actually go seek him for yourself. And I don't know how or what led me to actually just seek the Bible for myself because I always used to use an excuse on why I couldn't read the Bible because I couldn't understand it. It was too hard to read. Yo, when I actually opened up the Bible, when I tell you, it's a lady from my church who she gave me a Bible. And when I tell you, I don't know, let's look at it. I don't know if it's just the version of the Bible that she got me or whatever. Oh, it's the NIV version. And I'm like, bro, this joint is the clearest thing I ever read in my life. I'm like, this joint is so clear, bro. Like, I literally understand everything that they talking about in here. So it's like God was like, you kept that excuse up when I hear ways around it. Like, all you had to do was ask me. But you ain't care enough to ask me and put and trust that I can provide you with a solution to it. You just thought that you could rely on your own strength and stuff like that. Like, no, God literally wants you to rely on Him for everything. So, a lot been happening. God basically sat me down. I haven't been texting no friends really or nothing like that. God for sure sat me down and he he got my attention. And when I realized this, it broke my heart to know that God probably been trying to get my attention for so long, bro. And like I cut out all the noise for once. Like, cause I got friends who I normally go to that give good advice and stuff like that. And they normally have good solutions and I feel like they good people. So I'd be like, maybe I should talk to them about it. Like, what should I do in this, that, and the third? But even in that, God was like, yeah, you need to learn how to just seek me first. Like, don't get too caught up in their opinions because, yeah, they probably got good advice, but they don't know the steps ordered for your life for real. So you really can't not that you can't trust them. You really can't take their advice and be like, oh, if he said it and he said this, then this got to be the right solution because you low key, or you high key got to go to God for everything. You got to lean on God for it. And like y'all know, I've been on this no smoking journey for a couple months, like almost 2 months, and I was thinking about smoking. My friend, he was like, you strong because you don't have a real reason to stop right now. Like, you're not gonna take a drug test at your job and stuff like that. Like, ain't none of that shit gonna happen. You ain't gotta worry about that. So you strong. And then I asked myself, I was like, bro, like me, even though I knew that I had to slow down on it, I was like, I really could just hit it every Friday or something like that. And I was just asking God, and God, no. God, before I even asked God, He quickly just said to me, it's not even the fact that smoking is just bad. Like, it's just the fact that you can't afford to do that on the next level that I'm taking you to. And I know it's some stuff in your life that you feel like you kind of got a feeling that if you stop doing it, it'll elevate you. But at the same time, you feel like it's not really harming none. It's kind of weird. But it's like, it's not even that it's just horrible for you. It's just that God trying to take you to a new level, and certain habits and certain people and certain things can't come to that new level with you. So then God spoke to me, and He was like, and I thought when God, the first thing you think about when you hear God taking you to the next level and stuff like that, you be like, hey, I'm gonna get that new house. I'm gonna be sliding in that Benzie, get money, new job, promotion on the way, all that type stuff. But God then told me, He was like, fool, calm down, chill out. The next level for you is stepping in your purpose, and that is influence. And I'm not talking about influence like, yeah, I got a big Instagram platform, because to be honest, like, it's people pages who way bigger than mine. I think that Justin Boy LA, something like that. Like, it's people pages who got way more influence than mine. I'm not talking about influence like that. It's like just being a good example type stuff. You feel me? Like, you too, like, no, you probably don't value social media for real. Like, you don't be on there consistently. You probably got a couple hundred followers or something like that, stuff like that. You don't take it too serious. You don't care. But you still can be a influence. Like, God can still call you to be an influence to the people at your school, the people at your job, like the people you grew up with, the people in your household, the people in your family, like your cousin. Like, God can still call you to be an influence to those people and stuff. And God was just telling me, like, you have to do certain things and stop doing certain things, because you have to be the example. Like, it's like, you have to be like, this is your calling. And I got a scripture, and it say, like, it's First Peter chapter 5 verse 2 to 3. It say, shepherd the flock of God that is among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain but eagerly, not domineering over those in your charge, but being examples to the flock. Like, God just was like, you gotta clear it up. You gotta clear it up. And this is significant because, okay, Peter wrote this letter to Christians that were scattered throughout the Roman Empire, many of whom were experiencing persecution. In this passage, he addresses the elders or leaders of the church, urging them to approach their leadership role with a willing and humble heart. Peter uses this metaphor of a shepherd caring for sheep to describe how church leaders should care for God's people. In biblical times, shepherds had a close, protective relationship with their sheep, often putting themselves in harm's way to protect the flock. God was just like, it's time for you to walk in your purpose for real. Like, you gotta stop acting like you not called to be different. Like, you gotta stop acting like you not called to be different. Like, you gotta God is pulling on you, tugging on you, trying to get your attention, trying to get you to go in a different pathway. He trying to let his word be the lamp to your feet, order your steps. But you ain't you moving too much to even get a word from God. Your friend's voice is louder than God's voice in your head. Your parents' voice is louder than God's voice. Your voice louder than God's voice. Them Casamigos louder than God's voice. Them woods. We smoked that dope back the back, got on floating. Like, you can't do that. Like, them voices is louder than God, so you gotta be still. Like, I finally learned what be still meant. Like, I literally finally learned what be still meant. Like, I was like, God, like, I used to pray for stuff, and then somebody say, be still, let the Lord, provide and stuff. And if the Lord ain't gave me an answer within 2 hours of me still thinking about it, I'm thinking like, yeah, still time over. And you can't do that, bro. Like, that's not what being still is. It's literally it's literally praying about the situation, talking to God about the situation, telling God you put it in his hands, telling him that you putting the whole situation in his hands. Then operating boldly in confidence that you know God gonna provide a plan. You might not know what to do yet, but if God ain't gave you no move, don't bust one. God is trying to sit us down and show us that when he calls us, when he has a purpose for our life, like, he gonna always try to get your attention because he needs you to fulfill his purpose. Because in the end, that's gonna be the best outcome for your life anyways. Like, God, the God way, one thing I'm learning is the God way is so much better than my way. Like, the God way is so much better than my way, literally. So God, like, okay, I got a cousin, right? My cousin smoke, and I know she trying to smoke, right? I know she trying to stop smoking. I know she trying to stop smoking. So I went to a little party with them last night. It wasn't nothing too crazy. It was really like, it wasn't nothing too crazy or nothing. So we went to it was basically a family gathering. It wasn't no wild party or nothing like that. So we went to it, and her and her cousin, aka my new cousin, they in there, they hotboxing. I'm in this joint like, man, I could just hit this joint. Like, it's just one little hit, you feel me? Like, I need to relax. I need to relax and just, I can take one day off. And I was like, no, because if I hit this, my cousin who feels that, oh, my cousin, she 2 months in without smoking, her who sees that version of me, if she see me take a step down, when she relapse, she gonna be like, oh, Boosie, she was 2 months in and she relapsed. So if I ain't that far in, or I just don't want to. I was like influenced. Like, I was praying, I was letting God give me that strength in that car, in that back seat, because I wanted to say pass the peace like we used to do, but I didn't do that. I was just like, no, I'm not even gonna show interest in this. I'm not even gonna show interest in this. And hopefully when she hear this, I don't know. God just been showing me that. And then another situation happened this morning. My dad texted me, said a prayer for me too, out of nowhere. Then I had a moment to teach my little sister, because with my little sister, like, we kind of building our relationship up, and we've been talking more lately, and our talking consists of me playing in a lot of ways, and it ain't never consisted of me actually being enforcing things and stuff like that, because I've been trying to find a way to allow her to know that she can open up to me. So I don't want to come off as too strict or nothing, but I also need to implement some structure into her life based off the life lessons that I done went through, that I want her to avoid and stuff. So I had a moment to teach her, and I was just thinking about all this stuff happening at once, and God was just like, yeah, I need you to see that you have a bigger purpose. Like, you want that business to blow up so bad, but before you blow that business up, I high-key have to make sure you know your purpose, because if I bless you with this business and you still don't know your purpose, like, you're going to crumble, because that business not going to be a solid foundation. You got to live according to God's purpose. So you like, you can't, when you put God first, then everything you want follows, and everything you might want might be the things you think you don't want. I say that to say everything you think you want might not be what you want for real. But when you living according to God's purpose, you gonna already reach what He wants you at. What at the capacity that He think you should have it at, and that He think you can handle it, so you won't ruin it. And because when God gives you certain stuff at a certain rate, it's not always because, oh, I don't want them to have all of this, or I don't want them to have this and that. It might just be because, with the capacity that they operate at the capacity that they faith holds, this is all that they can afford right now. This is all in their faith account right now. So I can't get them too much because this is all in their trust account right now. I can't get them too much because what if they don't trust in me and lean on me as much as they should for this in order to keep it? Because if you try to feel like you in control of the outcomes and stuff, that's when God starts taking stuff from you. That's when life starts getting hard and stuff. When you put too much faith in your outcome, you have to lean on God to know that, okay, even if I did lose this job is not my source. So I know God gonna provide for me. Like it's gonna be hard, but at the end of the day, God gonna get me through it. Like, notice how I said He gonna get you through it, meaning you gonna have to go through it. I never said you're not gonna go through it. But if He's gonna get you through it, that means He's gonna be walking through it with you, so you don't have to worry. Where I want to be wherever God is. But yeah, God was just telling me that it's time for me to be a leader, and I just wanted to. I don't know if this gonna resonate with anybody. I'm just gonna speak my experiences, and I'm just gonna hope that one day you come across a video and my experiences is something. One of my experiences touch you in a way that helps you. And for some, you might be struggling with. God was just telling me, like, yeah, it's time for you to be the example. Like, not the example such as, oh, not so much as stuff like, oh, she going to go, she keep her hair done, or she go to the gym. Like, not those type of examples. Like, those examples cool too. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, how are you stewarding your life? How are you stewarding your gifts that God gives you? And it's crazy because when I first heard about stewarding the gifts that God gives you, I first immediately went to, like, the gifts, the physical gifts. But now I'm thinking, now that God has told me, like, it's time to be a leader, I'm thinking about the gift of influence. Like, because it's low-key a gift to be able to influence people. Like, that's a spiritual gift, to be able to influence people. And it might not seem like it because you might feel like you don't get no benefits from it. But that's why it says in 1 Peter chapter 5, 2-3, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have, not for shameful gain, but eagerly. Like, you can't want to do it for your own personal gain and stuff like that. But in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10, it say, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various form. This verse emphasizes the responsibility of sharing the gifts and knowledge given by God, which includes His word and others. So I immediately was like, yeah, you got to find a way to share the gifts that God give you. Like, if He gave you the gift of being able to do hair, you got to find a way to give back to God through doing hair. Like, maybe have a day where you just do free hairstyles for kids going back to school or stuff like that. Or if you cut hair, you have a way to cut hair. Or if you got a business that sell clothes, give back to the homeless or something like that. Like, you just got to find ways to give back to God. But then God told me, He was like, yeah, that's cool and all, but you ain't it ain't always got to be physical. What about the gift? How are you stewarding my blessings? And blessings could be the ability to live another day. How are you stewarding your life? How are you stewarding your time? How are you stewarding your ability to worship? Like, God was just telling me, like, worshiping me, stewarding, how are you stewarding His word? How are you applying it to your life? Are you when it comes to me being him telling me that I need to be a better influence and step into my calling of influencing people, such as sharing his word with them and things like that, not necessarily other type of influence, but he was just telling me that how are you gonna steward this? Are you gonna be somebody who still smokes and drinks and then look at it like I'm not perfect and stuff like that? Or are you gonna be true to God's word in a way so people can realize and be like, hey, if God gave her strength to let their lifestyle go, then maybe he can give me strength. Like, you don't want to mislead people. And that's another thing, because even though, yeah, I'm not perfect, everything is a process and it's not an overnight process and stuff like that. It's the simple fact that if you've been called, if God called you to walk in his image and be a representation of him, you don't want to turn people away. When you serving God and you showing people that God has changed you and he's been working in your life, you don't have to do much for people to recognize God is changing you, transforming you. It's just when you show up, they just realize there's something different about you. And it's kind of hard for people to see the work that God has done if you're not exorcising it for real. Like, you got to really step into God's image and really live for him for real, and not live for this world, such as doing things that might look cool or look like a good time. Because half of y'all tired of drinking, it just look cool, so you just still do it. Half of y'all don't even get the same benefit from smoking no more. Y'all just got into the habit of smoking, and now every time you bored, sad, mad, you do it because either you gonna go to sleep, or either you gonna have it's not gonna be on your mind and it's gonna cut the noise down or something. And there's gonna be that, but it's not really serving you the purpose that, like, it used to serve a purpose. You used to it used to keep stuff off your mind and stuff when you smoke. It used to do that. But now it's not even that it keep it off your mind. It just make you push it to the side a little bit and be like, yeah, I can't believe it's like that, but how I'm gonna figure it out. Like, it don't even hit the same no more. Like, that hit don't even be hitting the same no more. You feel me? That first hit don't even do it for you no more. For real. People gonna be like, nah, I smoke gas. Like, oh my mama. Like, that first hit gonna always do it. Yeah, you're going to get high because you're smoking. Hit you the same way no more. Like, it don't really do nothing for you. Like, you also got to be careful when you walking and intentionally trying to influence and trying to be the example of God's image, because with being a leader comes great responsibilities. And I got this scripture, John 13, verse 1 through 17. Jesus washes his disciples' feet. It says, now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart out of this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. During supper, when the devil had already put into the heart of Judas, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going back to God, rose from supper. He laid aside his outer garments, and taking a towel, tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was wrapped around him. After washing their feet, Jesus explains the lesson to his disciples. When he had washed their feet and put his outer garments and resumed his place, he said to them, do you understand what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do just as I have done to you. Truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. If you knew these things, blessed are you if you do them. So what this show is that you not only responsible for your life, you kind of responsible for the life of others. Because if a lot of people is looking up to you, like, you might be what somebody waiting on. Somebody might be waiting on you to come out of a situation so they can know they got the strength to come out of it. Sometimes people need to see, like, some people need to see it before they believe it. Some people need to see God's power and the way he works before they believe in him. And some people, if you got friends who know you rooted in God, but every time they see you crumbling up and you you not believing for better happening for your life, then they gonna be like, yeah, that God thing might not work out. That God thing must don't work. I thought she was just that. But if some people see you like going strong and being strong through stuff like that, when stuff happening, then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, God must be working through them. Or some people gotta see the blessing in front of them. Like, you've been faithful, you've been trying to get that business off the ground and whatever, but it's not going how you planned. And you thinking about giving up, but the thing about it is you can't give up because you got people looking up to you. You probably got friends looking up to you. You probably got siblings, cousins, like you probably got internet friends looking up to you saying like, now you be motivating me. Like, I was gonna start because of you. Like, if you quit, that might de- destroy their faith. Like, you got to be careful when you in control. Not in control, but you don't want to be the reason that somebody. What we learned today is that it's time for you to close out the noise of everybody else. Tune out everybody's voice. Sit down and let God talk to you. Don't go looking for signs. Don't go searching for signs and trying to misinterpret what God trying to tell you. Just be still, sit down, and let God come to you. Live your normal, regular life, but do it intentionally of going to better heights. But sit down and let God come to you. Walk in God's purpose for your life. Okay? Walk in God's purpose for your life. Do the thing that God wants you to do, because even if you don't go the way that God wants you to go, when God really got his hand on you, he will reach down way low to pick you up and spit you out where he wants you to be, just like Jonah. You literally can't escape God's plan, because you got so cold that even you can't stop his plans for him, for you. When you love God and you walking in his purpose, and you intentionally trying to go the route that God wants you to go, God not even gonna let you stop his plans for you. So just keep that in mind. Walk in your purpose. Be a leader. Be a good leader. Meaning, show people how it's done. Show people that you can go to God. Show people that God can transform you. Show people that God can take somebody who used to go out every weekend and turn them to somebody like, yeah, I can't go out because at 10 o'clock at night, that's right before I go to sleep, and that's my 30-minute dedication to my Bible time. Like, show people that, oh yeah, God can really transform people. Like be the reason that somebody believes in God. Like, that's basically the bottom line. I'm not saying you gotta go and reach thousands and thousands of people. Just touch the people who you walk past. You feel me? Like, in this walk of life, touch the people who you walk past, because you might be the reason that they come out of this situation that they suffering from. Like, you never know who's suffering from what, and sometimes people just need to see hope around them. Be the reason that somebody walk up out of a situation, and not for your own personal gain, not because of what they're gonna be able to do for you when they get out of that situation, but simply because that's a way to worship God and honor God by loving others, through loving Him. You feel me? Because God is love. So lead people, but don't lead people astray. Meaning, the way you can lead people astray is if you take them down the wrong path. And because you're not physically in control of people's steps, The only way you will be able to take people on the wrong path is if you influence them in a way that's not in line with God's will. So you need to stay within God's will so you won't be influencing people in a different way. Because the Bible say leaders be careful when you take on a leader position, because leaders get graded harshly. So that's all I want to tell y'all. Like, I know I kind of ramble a lot and stuff like that, but this was really just a little breakout session to let y'all know that, yeah, it's gonna be some changes around here. Like, I feel so bad because I'm probably I don't know if I should delete the post, all my old posts or not. I'm probably gonna keep it up so people can see the transformation. Like, I felt so bad. Like, I made a post and it was about Diddy, and it was a post of Diddy kids, and they was like, pray for Diddy kids, and I shared the post and I was like, take them to jail too, especially the baby. And yeah, it was funny, hee hee ha ha at first, but then I started looking at it through the perspective of, yeah, I just be trying to make people laugh, but it's a way to do everything without not being in God's will. And I feel like that I was low key downing other people in a bad time, even though it ain't that deep, even though they probably never seen the post, they probably never gonna see it. It's kind of like I'm using my platform. It ain't that deep, but it kind of is that deep. It was almost like, are you using this platform that God blessed you with to down other people and to make fun of other people? Because if that's the case, you're not stewarding your blessings right. So I deleted the post or whatever. I don't know, because yeah, it was just that post. Like, I have never deleted a post before, and that's how I know God is working through me, working on me, because I have never deleted a post. Like, that post had 10,000 likes, like, and God was just like, yeah, so you can't do shit, stuff like that. So yeah, this is my first little session. Like, I hope y'all. I'm gonna get organized as I go. Okay, like, if you feel like I'm rambling, hard to keep up with, I'm so sorry. If the editing on this is bad, because I've messed up so many times throughout here, and because I'm nervous and this is my first, like, I'm getting adjusted and stuff. So I'm probably gonna have to chop up this video a lot and stuff like that. So the editing will get better and stuff like that. Like, everything gonna get better and stuff like that. Like, just bear with me. Y'all finna walk with me on this walk of Christ. I'm finna let y'all see the transformation that God gonna let take place in my life. And it's scary, because that means I'm actually, if y'all don't see no transformation, that means it's no longer, I know for sure it's no longer God. I can no longer blame God. I can no longer blame time. I can no longer blame this and that. I can only blame myself for not diving deeper into my word, not diving deeper into my journey, not being more intimate with my journey. But yeah, y'all, this is my first little video. So, well, not video, first little radio station. So, bye bye. I hope y'all have a good day.